Can't hear you, dog.
Can you hear me now, sir?
Oh, mute ass.
What up? What up? What up? What up? What up, my guy?
What's good with it, brother?
Hey, nothing much. I had to run it back. Had to bring the energy to better the second time. So, as we know, we did the coaching series, man. We have had four, if I'm not mistaken, great coaches. The crazy thing is, all different mindsets, all different mentalities, all different type of clientele, right?
Right.
And I thought that this episode would be great for multiple reasons because what a lot of people do not know, if they don't know, they've been living underneath the rock. But we both coach, bruh. So I was just like, why not? Why don't we finish off this coaching series and kind of speak about our experiences, tell people who we are, kind of promote our own brands individually and kind of see what we can figure out with this episode. So what you think about that?
Man, let's go, killer.
Gotcha. So for the people who do not know, if you guys haven't been watching, Eric Shelton, I am the coach of Egoless Strength team. I mainly coach, I ain't gonna lie, men's physique guys has been my niche. I have a classic physique guy and I coach the wellness, a couple wellness competitors as well. What is like kind of your lane? Do you have a lane? It doesn't really matter. Like, what do you go after usually for like clientele?
Well, I'm Jamal Williams for the people that don't know. And as you stated, I do coach. I prefer classic and bodybuilder guys. As you know, if I do have a men's physique guy and I don't feel like going down that lane, I will refer him to you. Will refer them to you. But yeah, man, I just like to stick in my lane, and that's classic and bodybuilding, you know?
Okay, okay. So, I guess I'll ask the first question going into that. A lot of people always say you never want to pigeonhole yourself to one category or stay in one category. But is there a specific mentality of why you like to go after classic guys in bodybuilding?
Uh, I know it in and out, man. I know what it takes. I know the look that's required for both of them categories. And I just feel like I can relate to, my clients if they're classic or bodybuilding. Not saying I can't relate to the other ones, but I feel like I can really dial in on them guys. In the past, I have coached females. But yeah, my niche is just classic and bodybuilder, man. Not saying that I wouldn't take on other people, but my niche right now is just classic and bodybuilding. Those are near and dear to my heart. What about you? Because you said you really just dabble into men's physique. Is there a reason why?
I think it's kind of the similar reasons. I mean, I know I think everybody thinks bodybuilding coaching is the same for everybody. Like coaching a man is coaching like a woman. Like getting them lean, it's not. Like I said, I have coached women before, and I have nothing against it. If I came across a woman client that I felt like I would want to coach, I would possibly coach them. I just know for men's physique is one of the things of I can lead by example. Not only coach them well, but I can lead by example, and I still compete. I think also with my men's physique guys, I offer them posing like I can
Yeah.
do everything for them, So not only do I provide them macros, do I provide their workouts, I also provide them posing, and it's like you don't have to outsource anywhere or anything for anything when you're working with me. So I think that's the one benefit of me coaching men's physique and somewhat classic. And even if I can't pose them in classic, I'll either send them to you or my coach is a bodybuilder. So with those things, I always can have a way to outsource for those things, even though I competed once in classic.
No, absolutely. So just to segue off of that, because you do coach and posing as well. So when you're just someone's posing coach and not their nutrition coach, how hard is it for you not to cross that line into that other lane when you're posing somebody and you're like, and they're like, hey, coach, well, posing coach, I'm like 3 weeks out, and you're posing, you're like, you're how many weeks out? You sure you're 3 weeks out? So how hard is it
Hey,
for you not to cross over into that other lane, man?
hey man, it's none of my business what they do with their nutrition. Nah, but I think with me, it's a business integrity for me, because I wouldn't want anybody to step on my toes if I send them to someone else, right? So I think when it comes to like nutrition or someone being lean enough, that's a discussion that I always tell them they have to take up with their coach, and usually I would say 7 out of 10 times I'll know who the coaches are. So and of course if their coaches recommended them to me, then I know not to overstep that line. And I usually always tell them, hey, that's a question you need to ask your coach. I'm here for a skill set, and my skill set is posing. So that's all we're going to talk about. Now, if you're going to talk about anything outside of your nutrition, outside of your plan, we might can discuss that. But like I said, I'm gonna keep it professional and stay in my lane.
Absolutely.
So with that, I know you do posing as well. We hosted posing clinics together, so I know you do. I know you do those things. But I want to get into the mentality of your coaching style and how you coach, right? So
All right.
what's or I'll ask this about you. What's one thing you wish that athletes or people knew who, your competitors knew before getting into bodybuilding? Like, what is that one thing that you wish they knew or understood? Let's rephrase that. Understood about the process before getting into bodybuilding that you
It's
usually have to
not
teach as a coach. My fault.
it's not instant success. Um, Whenever you get these upcoming amateurs or these new people coming into the sport and they're looking for a coach, the first thing out their mouth is, I want to do this show so I can get my pro card. That pro card is not guaranteed on your first show. Do some people have that success? Absolutely. But if that's your mindset that you're going to get that pro card on your first show, then we need to back it up a whole bunch because there's other things like I feel like you're putting the what is it? You're putting the dang buggy before the horse or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So we need to back up because I need to make sure that your mentality is right before I even take you on as a client. You know what I'm saying? Like if you lazy and all that, I can't even begin to fathom. I can't take you on.
Nah, for sure, for sure.
So what's your mindset whenever whenever you take on clients?
So I think with me, like I need to start being more strict about these. But I practically do like our consult is almost like an interview. And
Mm-hmm.
the same way that we're talking here, they may get the polished email and may get the polished, hey, I'll reach out to you about this time. But then as soon as we get on that call, you know exactly who I am. I'm
Right.
gonna talk to you just like this. I'm gonna tell you the good, the bad, the ugly, um, of who I am as a coach. And then I also want the transparency from the athlete. Like I got to know how bad you want it. And I kind of compared the consultation to like an interview process because everybody wants the job until they get the job and it's time to do the job. It's like, why are you great for this company? Well, I'm very meticulous with my work ethic and I show up early and then it's like they give you check-ins late 5 weeks in a row. It's like you got to also read through that fluff and feed through the filter through the fluff for even athletes because I think everybody's ready because they don't know what to expect when it's time to get going.
Right.
So I think being transparent on the front end about, hey, this is what it's going to take. Like, this is what I require from you. And if you don't meet these requirements, then we won't be a good fit. I think it's almost like you have to have that conversation. And I think Melvin hit on it. I think me and you both talked about it. It's like, what am I coaching you for? Am I coaching you to be competitive or am I coaching you to just be, somebody who wants to go step on the stage next to other people? And let me know that up front so I know how to act accordingly. You know what I mean?
Right. And I think being, I'm gonna say an athlete's coach because we are athletes, or should I say competitors coach, however you want to put it. But I think being a competitor and also being a coach, I think we have more insight in the game. So we can relate to, our clients on another level. You know what I'm saying? When
Mm-hmm.
they're feeling down, hey man, I've been there too. Keep pushing. Coach, I'm hungry. I know, man, but we're almost there, man. Just give me 3 more solid days, man. I promise. I'm gonna push some carbs your way. You know what I'm saying? So being
Yeah.
that competitor coach, I think that plays a big part in the game, also.
Nah, for sure. For sure. So we're gonna get into the first call out. I also have a few photos that I'm gonna share here. So first call out. Here we go. Boop, 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 boop. So some photos from the Carolina Muscle team working. Okay, okay. And a few photos from the Egoless Strength Camp. We got a few, if If y'all wonder, we got some dogs. So
Right. All right. So that first photo you posted, that was a posing clinic. I don't want nobody coming after my head saying, "Oh, yeah, that was a posing clinic." But go ahead.
all right. So my first question I have is, and this is for, I guess, for you, because I think we should do more informative episodes as well. Have you
Right.
ever had to unlearn something you once believed about bodybuilding or coaching?
Man, dang, that's a good question, man.
I know
Um,
mine. So
no, for me, from a competitor standpoint, um, I had to learn. Dang, bro, you got me. Dang, hey, you got me stumbled on that one,
you know,
man. I don't know, bro. That's terrible.
all right.
You got me
I
on that one.
I got one. I got one.
Yeah, yeah. You
So
go ahead with yours.
there's two things I had to unlearn, man. I had to unlearn that it's not just chicken and rice. People think bodybuilding is just chicken and rice, chicken and rice, chicken and rice. And it's you have to carry yourself a certain way when you bodybuild, right?
Right.
I think the one thing I had to unlearn is like, and I said this in a recent interview I did not too long ago about like people always think you have to have this certain persona to bodybuild. Like, oh, just because my food low, I got to be an asshole to everybody, or just because of this, I get to do this. No, you don't get to be an asshole to people because your food is cut. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I had to unlearn that, and I started bodybuilding, like I said, 7-8 years ago. So I was just like, it's me, 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 right? But I think I had to get out of that mindset because, like I said this verbatim. This is a choice. Like you don't get to choose people like treat people like crap because you chose the bodybuild. So I had to unlearn that behavior because I'm like, everybody's like, oh, this is a selfish sport. This is a selfish sport. You can be selfish with your gym time. You can be selfish with your personal time. You know what I mean?
Right.
But when it comes to other people, you still have to treat them well. So I had to unlearn the behavior of I get to just close everybody off and shut everybody off. And it is what it is. So those are my main two things because everybody also think bodybuilders only eat chicken and rice. I eat way more than that.
Nah, that's a good one. I would say coaching is not a dictatorship. To me,
Mm,
it's a partnership. You know what I'm saying? Because once you start acting like you're in the military talking to these clients, they're gonna bounce, man. Like this ain't the military. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I'm not gonna say I have to learn that because I never did that to my clients, but just watching other coaches and how they handle their clients, that's something that I did learn. Like, this isn't the military. You can't be all up in their face telling them to do this and do that. Like it's truly a partnership. And once you have that trust of that athlete or whatever, then they're not even going to question you. They're okay, coach. But in the same breath, if they do have a question, they should feel comfortable coming to you, asking you that question, no matter what it is.
Mm,
So,
no, I definitely like that. Like it should be a collaborative effort. I know that's how it is with me and my coaches. That's how it is with my athletes. Like I think that's something super important. Like that partnership more so than like you said, somebody just saying, "Do what I say, trust the process."
right,
So,
right.
uh, all right. I have another question for you. So, um, how do you manage your stress as a coach? 'Cause I know as an athlete, you got to handle it completely different. But how do you handle your stress as a coach?
Man, I don't think I get stressed out as a coach. I just I don't know, man. I just don't think I get stressed out. There's no reason to be stressed out because if you're doing everything you need to do as a coach and you're making sure you're hitting all the blocks and the milestones you need to hit with your clients, you lay everything out for your clients ahead of time and not the day of, you shouldn't be stressed as a coach. And
Mm,
that's just my personal take on that. I plan ahead. If it's peak week, you're gonna have your plan in advance. If you have any questions, we're gonna sit down and talk about it, and it should be smooth sailing, man. So I have not yet been stressed out as a coach.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I have not been stressed out. Now, let me ask you a question there, sir.
All right. I'm
So,
waiting. That's what we got.
because you have pros and amateurs on your team.
What's your question?
You have pros and amateurs on your team. What's the biggest difference when you're coaching? The pros and the amateurs.
Whew. All right. All right. All right. All right. So I think with that, um, I think it kind of hints on the question I asked: the stress and the pressure of
Mhm.
coaching a amateur and a pro. I think with pros, I I take all my clients' goals very personal, right?
Right.
But I think for the pros, it's more of an expectation, right? Because I think I can probably say this confidently that it says that like every pro wants to leave with a check. Like I hope I can say that confidently that when they compete, they want to leave with at least a first, second, or third place check. Most of the time, they want to win if they're competing as a pro. I think as amateurs, they want to win. But I also think it's different layers to both stages. We approach it the exact same way. Do I feel a little bit more pressure when it comes to a pro situation? Yes, because I feel like usually at a pro level, I know the competition is going to be significantly tougher. When I take a guy to a pro stage, I know there's going to be at least 5 to 6 hitters on that stage, right? On some amateur stages, we may show up to a show where maybe the whole show only has 10 competitors and only 3 of them are competitive, if we're being honest. So I think I approach it the same, but I feel a little bit more pressure going into that pro show just because usually sometimes you know the people who's going to show up. You know you got to bring your A game. Um, I don't think anybody accidentally wins a pro show. You know, you have to come on to win a pro show. I have seen amateurs win a pro show and not be 100% on. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's a lot more pressure on the pro level for me when I about the approach. Like I got to make sure, like, hey, we got to be ready 2 weeks out. Like, hey, we got to make sure we're on this. Like your macros got to be hit. We got to be posing like weekly just to make sure that they're there. But like I said, I don't change anything between the two, but I think it is more pressure for me to take a pro to a stage than it is for an amateur.
Okay. I got are we about to do last call out?
Last call out, yes, sir. Let's last call out. Do do do. I had to add my own music.
All right, my question for you.
All right.
Being a competitor, being a coach, and being a judge, right?
Okay.
How hard is it for you to keep your emotions in check when you're coaching at a show and you feel like it was off? You know what I'm saying? Because, as a judge, you're looking, you're like, okay, doom, 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 cool. Then as that competitor in you, you're like, okay. But then as that coach in you, if it doesn't go your way, your client's way, and you feel like it should have, like you can't go to your client like, yo, they effed it up. You know what I'm saying? So how do you keep your emotions in check?
Hey, that's a tough one. Nah. Um, I think with us wearing all 3 of those hats, right? There's a certain level of respect we have to give to not only the other athletes on stage, but also to the judges who's judging the show and also to the coaches who's coaching these athletes, right? So there's a certain level of respect that we give first and foremost. Do I have to agree with every call? Absolutely not. But I also know in that moment, I can feel a certain way, but then I also have to go back to the drawing board and watch film because as much as we want to say we have an unbiased eye when we're coaching, we don't. We're still going to be biased to our athlete. We're still going to be like, my athlete looked like he got this and this guy don't have this because all we're looking for, like we're competitors first. So we're looking at the athletes on stage weaknesses first. We spot them, but we're hoping that the judges spot it too. So since we're not in those chairs, I can't really get upset. I can say all day long, hey man, you should have placed higher or you should have did this, but guess what? You still got that same medal around your neck, and we still took home the same amount of that same trophy that we placed with. You know what I mean? So telling my athlete like, oh, you should have beat this guy or you should have did this, necessarily won't be my approach until after I go back and watch the film. So the same exact rule we told people last season, like take that 48 hours. I need to do the same thing as a coach. Because if I respond that day and I don't agree, like I'm going to make a fool out of myself, and it's almost going to look like one, I'm disrespecting other athletes and those judges. So I'm not willing to do that for my personal brand and not for my athletes either.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing, just to caveat off of that, whenever these coaches do go online and they want to bash an organization or say whatever, you're making your athlete look bad. Like you are literally making your athlete didn't say nothing at all, but you are going online saying this and that, and the athlete is associated with you. You're just making the athlete look bad. So coaches, if you listening, don't do that.
All right, I have one more question for you because, like we said, this is the last call out, and I think this is a good question because we know that once you compete in a show, you have now qualified to become a coach. We know that's the rule. Like you compete and then you turn into a coach.
You about to get me in
Um,
trouble right here.
you
I
take
feel
a
it coming.
you take a certification, you get your certification, you become a coach, right? So, what's one piece of advice you'll give to a young coach starting out?
Don't be opportunist. Quit taking these amateurs money because you're only setting them up for failure. Um, just there's a lot of stuff I can say, but I'm gonna keep it professional because that's like one of my pet peeves. Like we've talked about it. It's like I really dislike when a person wins a show or competes in a show, and then the next week they saying that they're a coach. Like that mess kills me, and I just call them people opportunists. All you doing is taking people money and just destroying the art of coaching. So I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Okay. Okay. And I think with me, the advice I would give to a young coach I'm gonna say inspiring to be a coach, not necessarily jumping in and just being a coach. Be a good follower before trying to be a leader. And what I mean by that is put in the time as a follower, or put in the time into being a good athlete or a potentially good athlete, right? 'Cause I think good athletes doesn't necessarily just come down to your genetics. Like your genetics play a part in you being a great athlete. But a good athlete means, hey, I can show you I can get lean. Hey, I can follow a plan and actually learn what you're doing because I have seen people do it. Um, they'll take what their coach gave them and try to apply it to somebody else and not know why their coach did those things for them. So I would just say try to be a good student before trying to become a teacher. So doing one show and you're fresh and green in bodybuilding, you probably don't know enough to teach somebody else how to do it.
Right.
And bodybuilding is completely different than just trying to help somebody lose weight. So it's completely different. Like stage lean and losing 20 pounds is two different things for a lot of people. So my main advice would be, like I said, be a good student before trying to become the teacher.
No, I definitely agree with that because when I first started out, I was self coach. Like I coached myself, and then 22 is when I got my coach, Los from Pinpoint, and even some of the stuff that he taught me, I applied that to my competitors. You know what I'm saying? So, like I think that was a good thing. You have to be a good student, a good athlete before you can go on and be a good coach and a great coach. So, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, like I think even and we'll end after this. I think even with the thing that Ryan said, Ryan Sullivan, Cy Unison Fitness, he was just like, hey, he learned a lot as being an athlete, but then he realized like, hey, maybe my genetics isn't to the place I want it to be for the next level. So
Right.
therefore, I'm going to keep learning because I already was a good student. I'm going to keep learning and become that teacher, that professor that can help other people. So I think that's usually what it takes. Like you don't become the boss of a business after you just once you finish your daggone what is it called, your orientation. So
Right.
you gotta put the time in. You gotta actually learn why you're doing things. And if you're not asking coaches questions or trying to learn, don't try to just jump in, basically almost hurt somebody else's health because you just want to jump into coaching to make some money. I think
I
that's
agree,
it.
killer. I agree, killer.
Hey y'all, but I think if you guys want to reach out for coaching, I don't know. Are you open to consults right now? I know you're competing.
Nah, yeah, I am, man. Yeah, man, I'm excited too because I got this guy. We're popping out soon, man, and he looks fucking incredible, dude. So I can't. Hey, I'm so excited, dude. But yeah, I am. I do got a couple slots open, so if you want to get with me, come to the winning team. Let me know. What about you? You got any slots open?
So I do have a few slots. So yes, you guys can reach out via Egoless Strength page on Instagram or contact me on my personal page, E_Shell10, or just go straight to the website, egolessstrength.com. And as y'all see on Jamal's hoodie or on his crew neck, it's the takeover. Don't play with us.
Hey, I'm a real friend. I'm representing this guy coaching thing on the podcast. That's what real friends do. Support.
Hey, I'm supporting you. You in Georgia, right? Just not Atlanta. So,
Man, get your ass, man. Hey,
so with that, y'all,
peace.
hey y'all, we appreciate y'all. We out. Peace.